What's up, folks? Have you ever caught yourselves in the middle of a crucial day feeling like a ghost had its hands on the wheel of your life, but you didn't even know it? Seriously, we get up with the agenda organized, with a warrior's spirit ready for battle, but in here the engine is running in neutral, in a gear that goes nowhere. Our topic today isn't for the sidelines, nah. We're going to put the magnifying glass on the real thief of your peace, of your clarity, of your ability to build something lasting, the programmed desire. That silent, treacherous impulse, more deceitful than a snake in your boot, that turned your mind into a minefield of shallow and instant rewards. Look, this ain't just psychology, nah. It's your unconscious setting off a fire alarm for help. It's your purest energy being drained by a digital black hole that never gets satiated. So if you feel your focus is slipping through your fingers like fine sand, if your productivity is just a bad joke, you're at the right place to turn the game around. Hey, for us to keep unraveling these mysteries of the mind and hand you the complete map to get out of this existential mud, do this. Go ahead and drop your best like on the video, because this knowledge here is worth more than gold, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next scoop of dirt we're going to remove from that inner treasure. That is your consciousness. Let's get on with this recovery journey. Let's get straight to it. Imagine your ability to make decisions as a steel muscle. It should be pulling your car toward the mountain of your purpose. However, what's happening is that muscle is being used to lift crumbs. We have the map, we have the fuel of intention, but the wheel is being pulled into a sewer that you yourself are digging. This force that misgoverns us is the fragmented desire, not that will with a capital W, which pushes you to write a book, to found a family, to serve the collective with your work. Far from it. It's the minimal desire, the impulse that asks only for the next taste, the chemical snack that falls directly onto your emotional tongue without demanding any real effort. It's the domesticated, poor imitation of what should be your sacred fire. Thus the irony is cruel. You think you're in control, while the puppet is the one deciding the direction. How many times have you made the solemn oath to yourself saying, "Today I will be the diamond, hard, focused, unstoppable"? Then all it takes is the whisper of the algorithm, a suggestive image that lights up your most primitive trigger, an innocent click on the screen, and you sink into a quicksand of distraction that surrounds your life. The pain of this recurrent failure doesn't come from a lack of willpower, but from the absence of a clarity that was crushed. Your mind turned into no man's land. It was slowly and silently conditioned by years and years of easy stimulus to associate maximum pleasure with minimum consumption. Your freedom was confused with the neuronal release of a commercialized chemical, and consequently, every time you swipe your finger to run away from the silence and the necessary pain of the now, you're shooting yourself in the foot of your own presence, weakening your ability to be whole in life and not just halfway. The price is absurdly high, man. Opportunities that slip away, clarity that evaporates in the vampiric shine of the screen. But what changed everything was the pain at the bottom of the well. If the mind can be trained for slavery, it can be reprogrammed for total sovereignty. Therefore, the game isn't to castrate desire, nah. It's to put the king of consciousness back on the throne, transforming raw impulse into fine intention and chaos into indestructible presence. Okay. That's where we uncover the filthiest secret of this prison, dopamine. A simple chemical molecule, but powerful enough to put the most determined men on their knees in front of a screen. This divine molecule, the engine of life, was made to push you toward reality, toward the noble war against boredom, toward the conquest of love that requires patience and effort. But the system ambushed your reward center with surgical precision. So today, you no longer need to climb the Everest of conquest to feel the climax of victory. You just have to open the app, swipe your finger down, and the molecule immediately triggers the instant explosion in your brain. It's a ping chemical that whispers in your ear. Keep going. One more dose, just one more click, just one more second of this sweet escape. And, without realizing it, you entered the cell without a lock. The prison that has no walls but has the addictive repetition. Every hypersexualized or simply empty stimulus, every short video that sucks your attention, every instant reward paves an easy neural path, like a furious and irresistible river carving the softest soil. Consequently, The more this dirty water passes, the harder it is to change the course of your focus. And that river washes everything away. Your patience to face a long and complex project, your genuine interest in a deep conversation that requires attention, your stamina to maintain a relationship that requires effort and total presence. All of that dissipates. Dopamine stopped being your engine to become the slow poison that paralyzes. You no longer feel the pleasure of real small victories, only the desperate need for the next hot and easy stimulus. And that's how you build your own hell. The world offers you pleasure in bulk, but doesn't give you a single gram of meaning to sustain you in the long term. Then you wake up the next day and feel the fog in your head, the fatigue without apparent reason, the shame that can't be put into words, and that haunts you like a shadow all day. That, my friend, ain't a character flaw. Nah, it's cutting-edge psychological engineering aimed at your attention. Wait a minute, you think your desire is just yours and arose by free and spontaneous will? Think again. The story tells a con game repeated millions of times. Back in the early 20th century, a brilliant guy, Freud's nephew, named Edward Bernays, discovered the market's secret code. People don't buy with pure reason. They buy with emotion and hidden desire. And if you can awaken that desire, then you can control the choice and consumption. That's how advertising became the art of invisible manipulation. The focus left the product, "Our soap cleans better," and went straight to your unconscious. "This soap makes you desired and rich." Sexual desire, that primitive, automated force, became the vulnerable door to enter your mind without asking permission. They took sex, not the act, but the image, the symbol, the vague suggestion, and used it to sell absolutely everything, from cars to cell phones, from burgers to social media. Not because it had a direct connection to physical pleasure, but because it activates the same animal dopamine trigger that your brain cannot ignore. This technique was refined, amplified to industrial levels, and today it's in every little corner of your digital life with a diabolical precision. A video that pops up by accident, an image suggested without you asking. All of that ain't just luck, nah, it's top-notch behavioral engineering working at scale. And you, without realizing it, became the most valuable product on the planet, your pure attention. Your unintegrated sexuality is the fastest and most effective shortcut to steal the time and energy you need to build your life. They no longer sell pleasure itself. They sell the vague and incomplete promise of pleasure, and you buy it with parts of your soul that you didn't even know you were giving up in exchange for the stimulus. But here is the truth that liberates. What seduces you dominates you. Therefore, while you react like a puppet, others are building and leading. The exit begins when you see the game clearly, study the rules of the system, and realize exactly how and when your desire was hijacked to be used as a weapon against yourself. Look here, you might be thinking that vicious mind is a lost cause, but the garden of your mind can and must be replanted. Every piece of information you consume is a seed thrown into your inner soil. The problem is you're watering weeds and thistles with your most precious time, and then expecting to harvest unshakable peace and focus. It's that old story. You can't cultivate depth and beauty while you consume the superficial in bulk like water in the desert. The first step is the brutal cleanup that hurts the flesh and the soul. Stop for a moment and look at who lives in your feed, at who's talking in your head all day. After half an hour of scrolling the screen, are you stronger and full of energy, or more empty and guilty? You don't have to become a mountain monk, but you need to stop following the demons of distraction and easy vice. Swap the loud noise for the healing silence, the artificial sensuality for the silent power that lives in your soul. It's gonna hurt. You'll feel withdrawal, the brain will scream and flail like a spoiled child who lost their toy. But that absence of stimulus is the sacred space where focus and peace can finally germinate and grow strong. And that's where you enter the dojo of the soul, meditation. The mind is a wild and untamed horse. If you don't hold the reins firmly, the destination is almost always the cliff of anxiety and procrastination. Meditation seems like a waste of time for a brain addicted to haste, but it's the training of the most important and neglected muscle, the impartial observer. It's him who separates the animal impulse from conscious action. It's him who sees desire arising like a giant wave and chooses not to bow as a slave. With time and minimum discipline, the chaos of the mind silences and the inner warrior wakes up ready for the fight. Meditation isn't about not thinking, it's about seeing what thinks and not being dragged by the current of distraction. Therefore, it's in the discomfort of that silence and that personal dojo that man strengthens himself from the inside out. 5 minutes a day, that's your ticket to psychological freedom. Back to the main point. Where are you going when you spend your breath and your purest energy? And why are you going? The truth is that most men are sailing without a map, driven by the strong wind of escape. Escape from necessary pain. Escape from the silence that reveals the emptiness. Escape from what needs to be seen within yourself. The inner compass is totally rusty from being parked at the port of easy stimulus. But then the emptiness hits with the force of a giant hammer, and the stimulus no longer fills the hole. That's when the whisper of your soul starts to become a scream. What am I doing here after all? That is your sacred turning point. A man without purpose is a castle without walls, vulnerable to the first attack of distraction and vice. Redefining purpose isn't about creating an artificial goal to post on your feed. Nah, it's about excavating what moves you with brutal honesty and without masks. What frustrates me so much? What truly passions me? What am I willing to sacrifice today and tomorrow to be who I truly want to be the day after tomorrow? Your true north is what would keep you standing with your chin up even with the world collapsing around you. It could be impacting thousands of lives. It could be being the maximum example of integrity for your family. It could be building something that outlives your own death. No matter what the form, it matters that your purpose is inviolable and true. Purpose has to be your tattoo on the soul, a solemn oath, because when the temptation to run away knocks on the door, and it will knock with the force of a tsunami every day, you need to look at that vision and say firmly, no. Today I choose my long-term destiny instead of my short-term impulse. The free mind isn't dragged by distractions because it's sustained by a vision that cannot be bought or copied, only discovered in productive solitude. The man who finds his north, he doesn't need app reminders, he simply acts with presence and with his whole soul in what he does. Now visualize the Midas touch applied to your mind, not to turn everything into physical gold, but to turn everything into pure presence, a mind that doesn't bow to cheap impulse, that isn't a slave to the algorithm, but rather the creator of its own reality and its own day. That mind is your next existential level. But awakening doesn't happen by accident, nah. It happens by firm decision and consistent action. And the first decision is your most painful and liberating step. You are not your desire. You are the one who observes desire arrive like an unwanted visitor and therefore can mold it, re-educate it, redirect it to where your will points. Consequently, for that, you have to let go of what is easy and comfortable to grasp what is essential and difficult. You don't need another motivational video. You need less distraction, more presence, and a lot of courage to face the cavernous emptiness that instant pleasure tries to hide under the rug of your routine. From the moment you silence the outside noise, your true sound emerges like a healing melody. You're here to be a creator, not a slave to your own brain. And here at the channel, we're in this endeavor together every day and in every video. We talk about the man who drops compulsion and chooses consciousness as his new master. Every video is a key to freedom. Every reflection is a compass to guide you in the chaos. We are the community of those who refuse to live on autopilot and dare to face their own shadow to live with light and real purpose. Therefore, if this video hit you in the spine, don't let it go unnoticed, nah. Give your vote of confidence and presence by leaving your sincere like. Share it with your partner who needs this jolt of order in the mind and in life. And finally, if you're still out, subscribe to the channel to be part of this silent revolution of those who are waking up while the world sleeps deeply. We give you the key, but you're the one who opens the door to your own freedom. Thank you for being with us on this journey of taking back control.